the Sunday Assembly, me and my friend Pippa started it in January last year, and then, what do you know, it's gone weird.
Get ready for some awesome pop songs.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Church, but without God.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Sing it with me now. Here come on, flat top, he come grooving up slowly. He got juju eyeballs, he want holy roller. He got hair down to his knees. Got to be a joker, he just do what he please. Yeah. Here we go. He wear no shoeshine, got drugs and football, got monkey finger, he shoot Coca-Cola. He said, I know you, you know me. The one thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Because together, right now, over me. He bad production, he got Walrus Comfort, he got no sideboard, he want spinal cracker, he got me down below his feet. A whole new windmill's armchair, you can feel his disease. Come together, right now, over me. Last night, here we go. He roller coaster, he got early warning, he got muddy water, he want mojo filter. He said, one is three. Got to be good looking 'cause he's so hard to see. Come together, right now, over me. Come together, yeah, come together, yeah, come together, come together, someday, someday, come Nice job, everybody. We're gonna keep it going with the Beatles, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need somebody, not just anybody. You know I need someone. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Now these days are Thanks for coming. You guys can go ahead and have a seat. While the unnamed assembly band is getting off the stage, I'm going to welcome our host for today. And I'll let everybody clear off first. So, filler, la la la. No, I'm kidding. You're done. Matt Moye is going to be our host today. Please give him a hand.
All right, good morning, everybody. Full house. Woo! This is awesome. First and foremost, I want to say welcome to, Dr. Rebecca King and her religious studies class from MTSU. My alma mater. I went to school there. I started out religious, so be careful what happens at the end. I'm going to read off just a little bit about us. The Sunday Assembly is a godless congregation that celebrates life. Our motto is to live better, help often, and wonder more. Our mission is to help everyone find and fulfill their fullest potential. And our vision is a godless congregation in every town, city, and village that wants one. Emphasis on the wants one, not pushing. First, what we're going to do today is we're going to have our reader, Sean Smith, awesome guy. They told me he was an awesome guy. I got to meet him before, and it turns out it was right. He is an awesome guy. He's from Southern Word. They do poetry, spoken word, slam poetry, whatnot. He's going to come up now and give us a little bit. All right, welcome, Sean.
So he said, I'm from Southern Word. We actually just do spoken word residencies throughout the city, like with youth. So in like centers and schools across the city, we do like spoken word residencies, just trying to teach literature. So this is the literature I learned. I need a mic. I've always found my pride in fists that clench and punch through skies. Mama always said I was more Malcolm than Martin, more riots than peace rallies, but hey, by any means necessary, right? Right? By any means. Even if living out a dream means becoming a part of a nightmare. Even if seeing your people nowadays hurts your soul because they fell in love with the modern day slavery, we used to be royalty. But lost crowns somewhere in the middle passage, and now if we try to rediscover it through a hoodie, we may be murdered. Don't it sound like just another black poem? Just another blame it on the system, cry for help from the victim. But I never saw a problem with looking like midnight or dressing like midnight, the thin line between the worst of your yesterdays and the best of your tomorrows. 10 points ahead of the game thanks to Bobby Seale. Thanks to Huey P, we gonna get some tactics. Survival of the fittest. But what about those who weren't fit to survive in this madness, just scrapping up change to buy dreams? We all just rebels, with our GPS set to a cause, heartbeat of a ghetto. Drumming out stories of brothers who didn't grow up in my household. My mind is an alley that shelters my addiction of free speech. Don't it sound like just another black poem? Black poem, black poem, black poem, we under attack poem. And I'm not just talking about my race. Because truthfully enough, we're all in danger, bred to pounce on people with weaknesses that differ from ours. We call humans aliens. Just because they speak how we don't understand whatever happened to the language of love. LGBTQ. Community of people so marginalized. I'm surprised they ain't specify whether it was college ruled. I just want to remind you that differently able doesn't mean not able at all. And if this still sounds like just another black poem, it's probably because the world's so dark. So let's rise. Like fists for human rights, let's rise. Like conversations in a room full of people willing to stretch their comfort zones. If you're human, just human. You must rise. I actually usually have more information for y'all. I appreciate that so much. So like I said, I'm here with Southern Word, and we actually have a show on December 6th in Ingram at Vandy. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And like I like to interact with y'all. I need a little help from my friends, right? So, when I say Southern word, when I say Southern, y'all say word, right? Southern word. Southern word. When I say Southern, y'all say word. Southern word. Southern word. Clear your block with audio shots. Shut it down like we came in with the cops, and that's ironic, cause we the finest the Ville got. $40 in my pockets, dropping down non-stop. I know the story of Kennedy. Still got my mind on the drop. Drop the rate of my success to see my homies pop. Late night stress, killing beats to keep the homies from being a suspect. I confess, when it comes to the U, I plead the fifth. Like, I've been here before, it's probably my third trip. Peace.
I told y'all he was awesome. I warned you beforehand. I mean, you're gonna have to come back. All right, our next speaker is Leslie Rudloff. She is the senior counsel for the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. She's going to be giving a little talk today about alternative use for medical practices not on animals. Don't do it on animals. So I'm going to let Leslie take over from here. We're good. Okay. All right. It's Leslie Rudloff.
Law with regard to animal testing is the Animal Welfare Act, and wow, that's loud. I've never heard myself so loud. Right. Okay. It's called the Animal Welfare Act, and the USDA, actually a faction of the USDA called the Animal and Plant Health Service Inspection, or Animal and Plant Inspection Service, actually oversees that. Okay, here we are. So the Animal Welfare Act was written by Congress, and as you all know, Congress has interesting ways of defining things in the statutes that they write. So under the Animal Welfare Act, these two animals are considered animals. These two are not. So the Animal Welfare Act tends to be more of like a checklist than it's sort of form over substance. It doesn't encourage the reduction of animals being used in research. And the institutions that do the research actually control the amount of animal usage. The enforcement is really lax. They have very few investigators, so when animals are used in research across the country, they're rarely checked on or investigated. There are, according to a USDA 2010 report, there were 1.1 million animals used in research. Those are the numbers. The bad part is that, which is kind of running off the page, that number does not include the ones that are excluded, which I told you all about before. It doesn't include mice, rats, birds, or fish. So you can see that I think a lot of people are shocked that there are about 65,000 dogs used every year in research. Our approach, as far as my organization goes, is we do open records requests. So we find out about places that are using animals in research, and we do a public records request, which we're obviously allowed to do as taxpayers. We do complaints with APHIS, which is the USDA, the faction of the USDA which regulates this. We also do complaints with the National Institutes of Health about what they're funding. We also talk to local prosecutors, and we ask them whether or not the research they're doing actually falls under an animal cruelty statute in the state. You'd be surprised that a lot of times it does. And we're lawyers, I'm a lawyer, so we end up suing a lot of times. And why do we sue? Well, a lot of times when we get, trying to pick up the documents here, we get these types of examples of documents when we do our requests. The one on the far left, they sent it to us, is completely blacked out. So we're like, are you kidding? And you can see the second one is similar. So we get a lot of lame excuses like, oh, there's proprietary information, or there's something that involves a medical committee within these documents, or some sort of privacy concern. So in a case that we had against, it was the New York State Psychiatric Institute. They were doing studies on monkeys where they did had them become addicted to cocaine and heroin, and then they withdrew that from them and watched them basically have withdrawal symptoms. We tried to get the records. They told us no. We went to court, and the judge found in our favor overwhelmingly. So we got all the documents and were allowed to publicize those in the state of New York and across the country. A lot of times when we do that, it tends to, that kind of focus tends to dissuade others from doing that kind of research. This is a case that we did in Michigan where the court, we filed a lawsuit against Wayne State University where they denied us records. They said that we weren't entitled to the records because of the privacy of the researchers. The research involved dogs where they implanted pacemakers in dogs and ran them on treadmills until they went into heart failure. This research has been going on 20 years, $8 million in taxpayer money with no benefit to human health. When we went to court, the judge, I walked in, I'm in Detroit, Michigan, which is where Wayne State is. I'm thinking, I'm going to get killed in court. And it was funny, the judge, the first thing that came out of her mouth was, you know that Leslie's, or what did she say? She said, Leslie's entitled to the documents and you know it. So to have a judge kind of stand up for what the law says and also for animals meant a lot. We also had a case against the University of South Dakota where they were doing really horrible experiments on monkeys where they caused them to have strokes and monitored them for a while, and then they would kill them. We did a public records request, and we were awarded the documents, so we were allowed to publicize that and make people realize that tons and tons of money is going towards research that's not only cruel to animals but not benefiting human health either. And this research has been going on for a couple of decades too. We also have the situation where animals are used in medical training. So if somebody goes to medical school, they might learn surgical procedures on an animal like a pig, a goat, things like that, sometimes cats, sometimes dogs. Not only is it unnecessary and cruel, but it's also substandard medical training. Not very many schools in this country still do that, thank goodness. My organization's been one of our main focuses. In fact, the medical schools that have opened since 1979 have never used animals in medical training. So the standard has changed. There are 2 schools in Tennessee that do use animals in their medical training. We're sitting at one of them. Actually, Vanderbilt uses sheep to train their emergency medicine students. And we think that that's not only cruel and unnecessary, but it's substandard training. I mean, I know that if I were going to have some sort of surgical procedure, I would much rather have someone trained on a simulator that has the same anatomical landmarks as a human instead of being trained on a sheep. And not only that, it's just cruel. The sheep they're cut up and then they're killed. So we've been encouraging Vanderbilt to change that. University of Tennessee at Chattanooga still uses animals in medical training. They use pigs. They use about 300 a year. One of the only schools, and there are only 4 in the country that still do that, and they're one of them. And we've launched a campaign against them to try to change that. So hopefully, with some public awareness and pressure, we can get both schools to change. And I think that's the end. My organization is called Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. We have a website, pcrm.org, if you're interested in learning more about what we do.
All right, thank you, Leslie. That was it's always good to see people doing good work in the community like that. Very important. Our next speaker is one of our own, Kate Sherlock. She's going to do a bit called "Trying My Best," and then after that, she's actually going to do a song that she wrote. So please welcome Kate.
Is this a good one?
No.
Thank you, Matt. We have had an auspicious Sunday assembly today thus far. And I like the word auspicious. I'm overusing awesome, so today my word's going to be auspicious. And think it'll catch on. So here we are, 1 year anniversary. Who was at the building a year ago with Sanderson and Pippa? Raise your hands. All right, we got a handful. And who remembers playing patty cake? Much to our dismay. But we stuck with it, and we're still here 1 year later. We've moved to 4 different venues in this past year. We've developed an amazing, auspicious band, and we've fed the homeless. We've adopted a Nashville stream, and we're cleaning that up. We've had several coffee and donuts in the park, which has been a good social opportunity for us. We've actually been on CNN, quite impressive, and we even have a child care room. So that's pretty cool for the year that we've been around. So here's my part, trying my best with what time there is left. Trying my best in this one life. The other day I was visiting with a much younger Sunday Assembly friend who confided in me her thoughts, and they were a most honest thought, and she described how she had really started to think deeply about the fact that we have just this one life. And I recognize that because I myself have done that as well. That when we have been formed and we've held prior ideas about what this life is and what it holds, and that we have been shaped by things that are not exactly our opinions that we have once we become informed. So realizing this process, she was saying that it was quite breathtaking, and it kind of took her back for a moment that she had to contemplate that. My heart has been shaped over the past 50 years or more with different ideologies than what I hold today. So Sunday Assembly has been a big part in that reshaping of my heart and seeing life in a more in the moment kind of opportunity, and that this life can be much more beautiful and rare when we recognize that. So now I'm going to divert into a little short tale. About 2 weeks ago, I was in Colorado visiting my son, and my daughter went with me. And we hiked the Mayflower Gulch, and we happened to come across this broken down, dilapidated cabin, and my son accidentally found a geocache. Is anyone familiar with what a geocache is? Okay, we happened upon it. We were not searching for it. So anyway, I left, what I had in my pocket was a $1 bill, and I wrote on it, "Imagine John Lennon, the world is one." And so that's my opportunity, always looking to promote my own opinion. And anyway, on our way back down the hike, it was a 3-mile hike, my son started to describe a river refurbishing effort that he and his girlfriend had partaken in there in Colorado. And this river had gone underground because of the shale that the iron ore mining had done. So anyway, they were partaking in that, and as he's telling me this, he's my naturalist, I'm thinking, oh, I have my own river story because we have adopted that stream in Nashville. And my mouth is so dry, I'm so sorry. I should have brought lipstick or something. So I shared with him my story of how we were cleaning up our own little stream that we had adopted, and that scored a lot of points with him. And at that moment, I was so proud to be part of Sunday Assembly for that very reason. And let me just say, there's a quote, "We are all searching for a sense of place. We are all yearning to belong." Happy 1-year anniversary, Sunday Assembly. May you continue to foster a sense of place and to offer a place to belong. I didn't know y'all were coming today. We thought about a third this size.
No.
Oh, okay. All right, no, we expected.
We knew the place would be packed out. Wearing a hat. That's hats getting weird.
The lyrics are really good, and so is my band. Scott, Georgia, Stephen, they have been such a support and encouragement in me writing this.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
From the start, we are told there's a lack within. We're handed down to their feet before the dance begins. A sinful nature, and it's in our written law. I say nature made us all exquisitely flawed and so perfectly human. Whoa, no plan, no grand design, living and dying in grief and sorrow, laughing and crying, embrace tomorrow. So perfectly human. We fall and rise, can't survive life without a friend. And when we do, life becomes more beautiful and rare. There's no reason to believe you're weak when you are strong. Touch another fragile. Know that you belong to those so perfectly human. Whoa, no plan, no grand design, loving us and being lonely, giving our best we can end up only so perfectly human. You hear the music playing from the universe. You have a left foot and you have the right to dance without the curves. So perfectly human. Whoa, no plan, no grand design. Look at the way we are made ourselves. Believe in the sky and the stars that lead us. So perfectly human. Perfectly human. Perfectly human. Perfectly human. Thank you.
Yay, Kate. Good job. Awesome. Yay. And thank you for bringing us the 1 year anniversary. I forgot to mention that. When I first came here, I didn't even think about that. I just saw everyone wearing hats. I was like, why? I thought, I was like, it was a Christmas thing. It was a little early. It was the elf, the green, I don't know. But 1 year anniversary, that's what it is. Okay. Up next, actually, Adam is going to come up for a bit called A Few Things, or a Few... That's right.
There's
A Few Thoughts.
Right.
A Few Thoughts. It's not formal. It's just Adam. Here he is. Thank you.
Is everybody having a good time? We doing good? Awesome. Okay. I'll be quick. You've heard a lot of speakers, and all of them are great. Thank you to everyone. there have been a few of us that have been around since the first assembly, which was actually on a Thursday night, and I don't think any of us could have imagined what has taken place since then. And Kate did a really good job of kind of explaining where we've come from, and you know, all the different venues and the different hosts. And Kate actually left that first night. You walked out. I didn't know if you were coming back, but you did. Thank goodness. So here we are, and past is past and great, and you know, now we're going to continue to do this, right? I mean, we have a group of people who have come in some form or fashion to rely on Sunday Assembly in some way. Whether that's to engage with people who are open-minded and familiar and comfortable with being around other people and, you know, be active in the community and all that. We can fill that role for people. What you all may not know is that nobody makes any money on any of this. This is a complete labor of love, and I've said that a number of times. The volunteers that have really been the cornerstone for getting the group to this point, they're probably the best organizational team I've ever been a part of, and it's great to have them. Talk to Landry, talk to David, talk to Tanya about the history. We do have to structure, we do have to do all of those things like normal organizations, but what I spend my time thinking about is how we're going to do that in the future. But first of all, if we don't grow any larger than this, let's say we stay at 80 to 120 people forever, we're going to need to be able to sustain that. We're going to be able to sustain it without paying people to do it. We're going to be able to still provide not only a high level of productivity, I guess, for lack of a better word, on Sunday mornings, but throughout the week. And that's why we need you guys all. From a time and investment standpoint, Sunday Assembly in Nashville is going to only be what we collectively make it. But it's really important for us to figure this out and make sure that we do it right now, because we're not going to stop growing. I just don't see it. I want us to think about when we're going to be 200 and when we're going to be 400, and can we do this differently? Can we build an organization that is an example to others as to how we can work together, we can do this as a labor of love and still meet the needs of not only ourselves but our community as a whole. Afterwards, we're going to have a volunteer type get together, and again, we're trying to organize in a way that is different. We want to embrace diversity. We want to bring youth into the decision-making process and the volunteer process of this entire organization, because again, we have an opportunity that's unique. So please stick around afterwards if you'd like to learn more, to figure out ways that you can help. I think you'll like the people if you don't know them already. That was really all I had to say. I just want to make sure that you guys all know that we very much appreciate what we've done, but and how you've helped us this far, but really the sky's the limit moving forward, and I hope you guys stick around with us. Thank you.
All right, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to have a moment of silence. Since we're a godless congregation, and there's no prayer, we still like to do this in. Just take a minute, collect your thoughts. It's your time now. Probably half a minute. Just, what you're going to get for lunch later. I don't know what you need to think about, but moment of silence. Commence. Yes. All right, there you go. Alakazam, we're done. All right, so actually what we need to do now, after what Adam was saying, this is a labor of love, it's all nonprofit, but there is still a cost to run all this. This is a good time for us to do the collections. David's going to be passing, David and maybe someone else, maybe just David, passing out a collection plate. What you can afford, if you can't afford anything, that's fine. It's just to help out pay. And we do have a card machine if you need to pay electronically, if that's something you'd be interested in doing. Just all your money. Just put it all in there. I'm also going to go ahead and go over some announcements. Following this, for people that are interested in volunteering, we are having a meeting kind of for the organization of all this and just for other volunteer activities that we have going on. We'll be having a meeting afterwards. We do need volunteers to be doing meal preparation for the room in the inn. That's going to be November 15th. We're having a breakfast potluck on the 22nd at Berry Hill Community Center. And immediately following this, after the meeting, we're going to have a lunch at the San Antonio Taco Company. So please come join us. And apparently there's a ladies' cabin weekend. I don't know what that involves, but where it is. But I'm being told right now we've got a ladies' cabin weekend. It's on Meetup. It's next weekend, the 15th, 14th, and 15th. Yeah, that's the weekend. Okay, cool. All right, well, we've got a couple more songs by the awesome unnamed assembly band. So whenever we're done with the collections and they're ready to take the stage. The Auspicious.
All right, guys, I'm going to introduce the unnamed assembly band. One of the reasons why we are unnamed is, because there's lots of people that come in and out of this. My name is Adam Newton. We have Marina Campbell singing with me on singing and tambourine, and Deb Dennison on vocals as well. Give her a hand. Ray on keyboards. And I will say that Ray and Deb have been here since that first night over in the building. So thank you to both of you guys for all that you've done. Really appreciate it. Bill Campbell on guitar, everybody. Filling out on drums today is amazing Johnny Mack. Love this guy. Ben Sticky on bass and Stephen Phelps on guitar. We are the unnamed assembly band, so we're going to do a couple songs and get the heck out of here. So, volunteer thing notwithstanding. Stand up with me, let's sing along here. Whenever you're ready, Rhett. I saw her today at the reception. A glass of wine in her hand. I know she was gone to meet her connection. At her feet was this tall, footloose man. You can't always get what you want.
band. It's a color girl part, and you're gonna sing it. So let me hear you. All the guys. See your mouth going like this. We're gonna keep that going the whole way. Deb and Marina are gonna sing the verses. Sing it with them, girls. Go. Sing that verse. sunshiny I hope you had a great time. Stick around, guys.